Good damn morning, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again, and make sure you hit the notification bell because as we know, every time the notification bell rings, a piece of shit liberal cries. And to be honest, you guys, I really think YouTube is hating on me. My subs were going nicely north, and all of a sudden they just slowed down. So I think that YouTube is hating on me. Double check. Make sure they didn't unsub you. And if you like what you hear, sub it. Now, the big news of the day, the 14-ounce T-bone on our plate, impeachment. The transcripts were released. I read them, and drum roll, please. Much like the Mueller report, there was jack shit in those transcripts. Man, this was a phone call between two world leaders, very vanilla, very soft, very run-of-the-mill. Hey, congratulations. Thank you very much. When you called me when I first won the presidency, this is President Zelensky of the Ukraine speaking. When you called me when I won, thank you. Now you're calling me because we won the parliament. Thank you very much. Trump's like, hey, man, no problem. You know, you've been good to us. We've been very good to you, even better to you than your own European Union. You know, Germany ain't doing shit for you. They talk a good game. Merkel and Macaron, whatever the president of France's name is. And he said they talk a good game, but they haven't done shit for you. And we, the United States, have done much more for you. And Zelensky's like, yeah, man, you're right. He's like, I agree, not 100%, but 1,000%. He's like, I've met up with Macaron and Merkel and told them that they're not doing as much as they should for us. And I want to thank you in the way of military defense. You guys have been looking out for us. Blah, blah, blah. It was a love fest. It was President Zelensky telling Trump how appreciative he is of the support and all the things they've done for us and how we've done much more for them than the European Union. And Trump says, hey, man, you know about there's a situation that went on with the prosecutor of yours being fired when they were getting into this case of Biden and his son, you know, taking funds and working for a company and all this shit over there. It's kind of weird. Look into it if you get a chance, if that's possible. That's what Trump said, if that's possible. So that doesn't sound to me like he's saying, look, man, you either find out who did this shit or I'm not giving you nothing. Now, if you want to hear somebody who really did say that, then look up a 2018, yes, last year, interview, a panel, whatever you want to call it. Biden's on stage with these other suited fools, and he's talking about how, yeah, the president of the Ukraine, he's like, I told him, you need to fire this prosecutor or you're not getting the money. And he told me, well, you're not the president. You're not President Obama. You're only vice president. You can't do that. And I told him, well, why don't you call Obama? And the crowd's like, ooh. Why don't you call Obama? I guarantee you he'll say the same thing. Now, he mocks looking at his watch. He goes, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If that prosecutor's not fired in 6 hours, you're not getting the money. Now, that speaks to another thing. Now, I'll admit, I bought into this hapless, lost grandpa in the mall, Joe Biden, Bidenist, pervertist, you know, this whole persona he was giving out there. Oh, I love the seasons in Vermont. But he was really in Delaware, vice versa, whatever. Teeth damn near popping out of his mouth at the second or third round of the Democratic presidential debates, and no, and all these flubs. I like that word, flubs, where he couldn't figure out what the fuck he was talking about, and all this crazy shit he's saying. I'm like, why are they trotting out this senile old fucker to be the front runner for the Democratic president, for the Democratic candidates? Because no one else is close. Bernie, Kamala, the Ugandan nightmare, she's running out of money. Assaulticus is running out of money. Kim, whatever her name is, the mom from that 70s show, she's running out of money. So I'm like, how do they get this fool up here to be the front runner and he can't remember what day of the week it is? But you look at that video of him last year, he was cold, he was calculated, and he wasn't taking no shit. He wasn't stumbling over his words. He wasn't losing his dentures. He wasn't giving misinformation. He was like, oh, and then he said, I told him I'm leaving in 6 hours, and if that prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch, guess what? 6 hours later, he was fired. He was bragging, but he was showing how shrewd and calculated he can be. It wasn't the, oh, what? Do you have any butterscotch candy? Like, it wasn't that shit. It was a different man. So that makes me believe that he's probably full of shit. There's probably some conspiracy going on. They wanted him to run for some reason, but they don't want him to win, so they want him to start pulling this senile old man shit. I don't know. But the Biden we've seen on the campaign trail was not the Biden you saw in that video. Anyway, getting back to these transcripts. These transcripts. This is the bombshell. This is what this impeachment bullshit is all about, is some whistleblower. And what are they blowing the whistle on? I don't understand. There wasn't shit in that conversation. And if you read the Whistleblower Act of 89, it says it's a protection. It's not saying, oh, they must give up information. It's saying if you see something wrong and you tell, you can't be harassed or bothered because you told. It's a protection for you. Now, since there wasn't jack shit in these transcripts, and they've already shot their political load on what's going on with this Ukraine bullshit, Adam shit got up there and actually said, I couldn't believe this shit. He got up there and said, oh, well, there was stuff in the transcripts. We just don't know what it is because they were using coded language. He's like, it's like a mafia boss. It's like the modern day mafia, the way they were talking in code. Code. So Trump's like, hey, can you do this favor for me, Zelensky? The frozen turkey is breakdancing. I repeat, the frozen turkey is breakdancing. Wink, wink. You got it, Zelensky. Like, what the fuck? I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Get the fuck. So now Trump is talking in fucking coded language. Now Trump is a fucking wind talker. He's saying the information right in front of us, but we don't know his coded language. So do they have these language specialists that are going to be dissecting these transcripts and try to find out what these words mean? Stop it. And the crazy part is they've done this before. They've pulled this collusion bullshit, investigation, we should impeach him bullshit before. Mueller, did we forget about him? How many tens of millions of dollars, 40 to 50 million, gone? Just up in fucking smoke or up their nose? I don't know. But they're going to do this again based on a phone call that turned out to be nothing, as Van Jones would say at CNN, a nothing burger. Jack shit. This is desperation. This is the last throes of a desperate, injured animal trapped in a corner. That's a dangerous motherfucker. Like my dad used to tell me, son, a man that doesn't care is dangerous. And these people don't care. This is the same side that trotted out a fucking teenager to lead the charge against climate change. The calamity kid, they got out here telling us we're on the verge of mass extinction. The same people that are trotting children out on the front lines, the political front lines. That's the same group. The same group that has a representative that thinks that an AR-15 weighs as much as 10 full boxes and it shoots 50 caliber ammunition. The same group. They're the ones taking the reins on this impeachment bullshit based on this conversation. Based on a whistleblower. I don't know who that is or what they're blowing the whistle on. But this is the silly shit that we're dealing with. And you had Schumer up there with his slimy, deviant-looking ass saying the same shit. Coded language? Get the fuck. So now Trump's part Navajo, speaking a dialect nobody else knows, just him and the president of the Ukraine. When did they have the time to learn this language? When did they have the time to come up with this? Trump's doing fucking cue cards on Air Force One so we can learn this new language to speak to the president of the Ukraine? Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. Even you mouth-breathing dumbasses can come up with something better than this, but maybe you can't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the ceiling for you. Maybe this is all your neurons firing at the same time, the best shit you could come up with. My fucking goodness. 5 pages of nothing. I'd rather read the phone book than to read that shit again. Stop wasting my time. Stop wasting my fucking money. Admit your defeat. Give Trump 4 more years and get your ass back to work, dummy. Now let me get back to my state-mandated meal period. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell to make sure we make a piece of shit liberal cry. Utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.